Hello, podcast people. Here we are, lads. It's Danny and Kinsey and the number one best-selling podcast of the year. That's right. It's time for Two Peas in a Podcast.
Today we're going to discuss the vital issue that is ownership of media. An incredibly exciting and wondrous topic, I'm sure you'll agree.
First of all, let us define the major media industry sectors.
Because if you didn't know already.
Hey, leave it, man. Not everyone is as clued up as we are.
That's true.
They are film, radio, television, music, print, computer games, advertising, and marketing.
Why don't you give the guys at home a few examples?
Well, maybe I will, Danny. Maybe I will. First off, in the film industry sector...
Isn't that the industry sector that produces movies, dude?
Yes, it is. That is right, folks. In the film industry alone, there are such media Goliaths as MGM, 20th Century Fox, Disney,
Ya big clown! Now look what you've done!
Universal Studios, Warner Brothers,
That's all, folks.
Sony Pictures, Columbia, and DreamWorks.
To name a few. That's an awful lot, and these are just major studios. There are tons and tons and tons of other little ones making films all around the globe.
Yeah, these companies often produce and distribute their own films.
Yeah, but don't they also take films from small independent shops too and distribute them?
Yes, they do. That is one way they make their money.
What about radio industry?
Ah, come on, that's easy.
You're right, it is, isn't it? There are lots of radio stations, but in the UK there is only really a few massive companies.
There's the ad-free BBC Radio, which offers 10 different national stations. Radio 1, Radio 1 Extra, Radio 2.
BBC Radio 2, Ken Bruce.
Hello, chums. Everything all right this morning? Oh, wonderful. It's a Monday again. Another week begins, and it's never the 18th of the month already. Doesn't time fly? Love is like...
Radio 2, Radio 3, Radio 4, Radio 4 Extra, Radio 5 Live, Radio 5 Live Extra, Radio 6, and the Asian Network.
Then there's the commercial radio. The most popular of those are Classic FM, Kiss FM, Smooth Radio, and TalkSport.
Yeah, but I prefer Radio 2 because it has superstar DJs like Ken Bruce and Chris Evans.
Come on, don't forget Wogan.
Oh yeah, sorry man, I always forget to mention Sir Terence Wogan. What am I like?
The media industry is not just limited to visual and audio entertainment. There is also the press, the newspapers and news websites that report on current affairs.
Yeah, our top 7 newspapers here in the UK are The Sun, The Daily Mail, The Daily Mirror, The Daily Telegraph, The Daily Star, The Daily Express, and The Times.
I think that's enough for defining what these industries are. It's time to get on with talking about the different types of ownership.
This is my favourite.
Mine too. First of all, let's talk about private ownership.
Grand.
This type of ownership is commercial and makes a lot of money.
Yes, that's right. Companies that opt for private ownership get the benefits of wider distribution, as well as more financial freedom and being able to seek far more lucrative markets.
Those are good things for sure. Sadly, there are a few downfalls when it comes to private ownership.
Such as?
Pressure to please investors and stay in profit company, and product bias when they're less visible than a publicly owned business.
That's right. Danny, what's a conglomerate?
Well, Disney's become one of
Disney's one, yeah, that's a good one. Right, that's conglomerate finished. The advantages of having a conglomerate like Disney, like what Danny said. Financial security, the umbrella structure in money lost due to bad investments in other market areas.
That's a disadvantage, really, isn't it?
That is a disadvantage. That's what
and
I was
lack
getting
of
onto.
focus in one area.
Yeah, you've got to focus on having a film that complements the toys, that complements the theme park. It becomes a very tricky thing. Other types of media companies, you've got horizontal integration.
That's like Dr. Beats and Apple.
Dr. Dre Beats.
It's the representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Yep.
And Apple, yeah, they've become one together, I think.
Yeah, but they still have their own companies.
Yeah, so the advantage of that is they've got more expansion on both sides. You've got more capital, more investment.
Better distribution.
Yeah, and you've got a great market visibility as well, don't you, really?
Yeah, well, there's also
more
disadvantages.
Disadvantages are that one side messes up, then it takes the other one with it. You lose profit.
But you'd think with Dr. Dre Beats and Apple that wouldn't really be a problem.
No, you think they'd be able to sort of stand each other up, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and also they could like conflict in what they want.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thanks.
Taking different directions with their companies. Vertical integration, that's sort of the opposite of horizontal integration.
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, brilliant example.
Thank you.
They've got they sort of do their own advertising, distribution, but they're also making their own films. So it's like they don't rely on other companies. They just do one thing and then they move down, do the next thing, move down, do the next thing, all the way down to releasing it on DVD, where they can do that as well.
Advantages and disadvantages for them then?
Advantages, profit and money is easily controlled. It's all coming in and out of the same business.
Yep.
There's less conflict of interests.
Yep.
There's no outside interference whatsoever. You're covering every basis. Disadvantages, it's harder to control all the areas of production because you require the full team to do everything for you. You can't sort of use other people, rely on other people to cover stuff. And it's financially restricted to one company. You can't use the wealth of other companies. Cross-media convergence, let's talk about that. What's that?
Let's not.
You don't want it, alright, let's skip that then. Right. Synergy, what a word. Me and Danny, we have good synergy. It's where two companies work together to get a result that would be greater than the sum of one's individual efforts.
So something like this would be like, you got your Harry Potter franchise and then put it onto Lego, so Lego figures.
Lego Harry Potter.
You got
two
the games
companies
and stuff,
merged together to create something that could be toys, could be video games, could be a theme park.
Yep.
Good use of synergy. And then that's about it, really. I think that's all we have to talk about. Right, we'll see you again in the future for another podcast. Thank you, podcast people. See you after the break. Toodle-doo.
Choose chicken. Choose the McDonald's Chicken McNuggets. Tender, juicy chicken McNuggets made with chicken breast meat, wrapped up in a crisp tempura batter, and accompanied by our range of limited one-time offer sauces, like our deliciously new caramelized onion dipping sauce. You could even up the heat and get your McNuggets with our fierce hot chili dipping sauce. Or are you chicken?
Hello, podcast people. Welcome back from that short break. We are here today in Studio 69, ready to get on with some hardcore podcasting. Danny, over to you.
So firstly, we'll talk about constraints in this. Constraint is a limitation or restriction on something to prevent something else from happening. Like in the media industry, there are many limitations, laws, and restrictions, and some regulations are technical, legal in the way they are provided by the law.
That is right. That is very good. Employment legislation is a key issue that we can now talk about. It refers to the laws which help to protect employers and employees from unsafe working conditions, unhealthy situations. I'm going to say it all like that.
Okay.
This means that all health and safety regulations be properly assessed and considered, as well as the employees' rights and equal opportunities. Very good issue, key issue. What about employees' rights? Do they have any rights? Should they have any rights? Do they have any rights?
Well,
what about statutory rights?
employees have rights at work, and they depend on the statutory rights and the contract of employment. The statutory rights are legal rights.
Stat rights. You call them that.
Stat rights.
Easy to say, innit?
Yeah, well.
Stat rights are legal rights.
Alright, we'll call it
based on
stats
laws
rights. Yeah.
passed by government. Nearly all workers, regardless of the numbers of hours, what they work in the week, have certain legal rights.
Yeah.
Stat rights. There are some workers who are not entitled to any rights.
Stat rights.
They have no stat rights. The contract of employment is the agreement made between the employer and the employee. This could be in the form of a written agreement, contract, or what has just been verbally agreed with them. Can you think of anything else?
Well, the contract of employment will also include custom and practice agreements.
Oh, yeah.
They're things that are usually done in the workplace. For example, if the employee gives the employees a day's holiday in August, even though it's not mentioned in the written contract, this will form part of the contract of employment as it is usual practice.
Very good.
Let's talk about...
the man with the strand. It's Danny Martin.
Are you done?
Hello.
Hello there.
Employees' rights. Whoa, they're interesting, aren't they? Employees got rights.
Yeah.
I got rights. You got lefts. You don't have rights. You've got lefts.
Okay.
That's an example that we could have talked about.
Let's talk about it.
Do you know any examples, Danny?
For employee rights.
Careful now, careful.
The houseman Warner, I don't know if you know her, Rebecca Raven.
Oh yeah, I went to school with her.
Well, she was an art teacher.
Only joking, I didn't really.
He got us all. It's all wittiness of Kinsey right there. Well,
I sleep with this.
yeah. She was an art teacher, but she was sacked from an independent all-girls school because she was pregnant.
That's not a good thing,
That's
is
not
it?
a thing. But don't
She
worry.
should have been pregnant.
Don't worry.
That's the worst thing
She
you
won.
can do, yeah.
She won a case for unfair dismissal, and because it breached the Employment Right Act, 1996.
I remember that law.
You can't be getting pregnant if you're an art teacher.
Employers liability insurance. What is that? I know. Should I say?
Yeah, you should. If you know it, speak
I
out.
won't
The
keep it
podcast
locked
people.
away in my
Podcast people want to
closet
know.
of knowledge. Employees are responsible for the health and safety of their employees during work hours. This
Mate,
applies in
speak
any
normally.
workplace. It's boring. Try to say it boring because it's a boring topic.
We've got to
Let's make
upbeat it.
Oh yeah,
We're
good
the number
idea.
one best podcast thing
Oh,
for a
yeah.
reason.
You can't get that without trying, without putting on different good voices, can you? Let's talk about next bit. Employees may be injured at work. If you've been injured at work, you may be, you may be entitled to compensation if you've had a workplace
You're
accident.
just trying to say what the advert says.
Yeah.
Injury lawyers for you.
Injury lawyers for you. No win, no fee.
There you go. That's all we need to talk about.
I'm not finished.
I'm finished.
Public liability insurance. That's a good name for a band. We should call our band that.
Public liability insurance.
Yeah,
I don't think it
cool.
needs the insurance bit. Public liability.
We are a liability. Public, aren't we?
Yeah. Woo! Public liability insurance is important when, mate.
That'll show up on tape, won't it?
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Liability, you are.
What a liability!
Oh!
Ties it in.
It all comes together.
Happened, innit?
It all comes together. Public liability insurance is important when out filming in public premises because it will pay out in the event that a mistake is made which causes an injury to a member of the public or which damages the property.
Like dropping a camera on someone's head.
Exactly like that. Exactly like
Just
that.
to bang your head, they'd be like, "Oh, who's done that?" And you have to go, "It was me. I'm liable." Here's a bit of insurance. Here's 40 quid.
40 quid. Is that it?
I'd settle with 40 quid. And like, it depends how hard they bang you on the head. Really, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. You've always got to take it all into account. Do you know when the other day at McDonald's this little fence fell on this little kid's head and knocked him out?
Decent.
Yeah, it was pretty funny actually. It's possible for a newspaper to libel individuals, groups and organisations. They do it to mainly get a story, so
To commit
to sell the
libel,
newspapers.
they would have to print something that is is it inflammatory? The courts normally apply these criteria to test if a statement is defamatory. Does it expose a person to hatred, ridicule, or contempt? Does it? Stop laughing. I'm trying my best here, mate. You're always laughing at me. Does it injure the person in his or her professional trade? Does it cause a person to be shunned or avoided? Does it reduce a person in the eyes of right-thinking people? This is all things what the News of the World has done to celebrities in the past.
So let's play a game. So I'm going to give you cases for some people and you got to tell me. So
Let's play the game.
Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole.
Why was he?
Ashley Cole, former husband of Cheryl Cole, Cheryl Vicine Fernandez.
Yep.
Hernandez. He's a person, and he was.
He is a
talking
person.
to
You got it
some
well.
Girl, and he was sending naughty pictures of himself, and the News of the World hacked his phone, found the old pictures, and then they were like, "Oh, look what he's done," putting it on all the newspapers, front pages. Secondly, that was it, I think, and then they broke up. Because he was been cheating on her and stuff.
Right, so though.
But why would you cheat on Cheryl Cole? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. Why, when you got one of the hottest women in the world, would you go for?
Unless it was with Keira Knightley, that might have been why.
So
What's the next bit of the game? Is that it? Did I win?
No, Brad Pitt. Why was he in it?
Brad Pitt. Well, he has that
say
really nice
that.
moustache, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, but that's not why he won
Why is that not?
the cases. No.
Did someone? Make
It's
a
pretty much the same story as Ashley Cole,
phone hacking.
but it was a lie. This one.
Oh right, so it wasn't even true. It was defamatory. Right.
Sure.
Left. What about any other bits in the quiz? Have I
Yeah,
won yet?
we've got 3 more to go.
Did I get a point off that one or not?
No.
I just said he had a nice
No,
moustache.
'cause he does have a nice moustache. Yeah.
So half a point.
Okay, half point.
1.5 points.
Posh Spice or Victoria Beckham, if you want to be calling her by her real name.
Spicy Spice. That's what I call her.
Okay. So why was she a thing?
Because she's proper skinny.
No, that's not it.
That's it.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
no, that was the other one. Because she's married to David Beckham. Beckham was cheating on her with Rebecca Lewis.
Mm.
I remember that. And then he said, "Oh, David, oh,
Golden balls, what you like?
oh, what you like, David, oh." No, that was it, wasn't it?
Nailed it, mate.
Point for that.
Sure. Kerry Katona.
Someone put naughty photos of Kerry Cantona on the internet, and everyone was looking at them, and then she was like, "Oi, what you doing?"
Hey, they're my bits, not yours.
She's Scouse, isn't she?
I don't know.
That's
My mum's got
deserves
to
it.
last one.
And
And lastly, Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley, she's proper skinny, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. And someone said, "Oh, you're painfully thin. You look like somebody put a stick right through you, and then you look like you're all skin and bones, you." And she was like, "Oh, don't say that, Mr. User World. That's a horrible thing to say." And then she was like, "Oh, I'm going to sue you." And they were like, "Oh, right, try it." And then she actually sued them because they said she was proper skinny. I know that one. Get that by heart.
Proud of you.
Good, aren't I? Good at the game. I get all points. I get 2 points. I got 2.
1, 2.
2 now.
Yeah. And with that note, we finished! So we're going to go back to another short break.
Okay, this is Podcast People. You've been the Podcast People, and we've been 2 Peas in a Podcast.
See you in a bit.
See you later.
The thing about accidents is that you never see them coming. One minute you're enjoying your life, then when you least expect it, you get injured. And when that happens, everything grinds to a halt. Your whole life is put on hold. But you don't have to be a victim of circumstance, and you shouldn't feel guilty. What you should do is call Injury Lawyers for You on 0845 345 4444. They're real lawyers, and they will get you 100% of the compensation you deserve. That's what they do. That's all they do. So call Injury Lawyers for You on 0845 345 4444, and we'll get your life going again. Injury Lawyers for You. 100% lawyers, 100% compensation.
Hello, Podcast People. We are 2 Peas in a Podcast, the award-winning podcast series. We
Not
are
sure
back,
why, but
back from the break
we are.
with more and more than you could ever imagine.
Yep. This time we're talking about regulation in the
We're
media
talking about
sector.
regulation.
Sounds like a fun one.
Why should we regulate the media, people? What's the reason why we should do it? Well, here's your answer. Danny Wong.
The media now affects nearly every aspect of our lives, so... And it influences in the products we consume
Yeah.
via advertising.
Yeah, our whole understanding of the world comes via news and documentary. Our leisure comes via film and broadcast fiction, games. Our methods of communication are often via the internet. It is widely acknowledged that this dominance gives the media huge influence. Now, when I was reading my books the other night, I came across a theory.
What theory is that?
Well, I think you'd like to hear about it.
I would love to.
Quite interesting. It's the media effects theory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've heard of it.
It rings a bell, yeah.
Ah, yeah. I thought you might have heard of it, Danny. That sounds like the sort of thing you would have read about. Well, this is a theory that achieved widespread acceptance in society. It was first proposed by the Frankfurt School of Social Researchers in the 1920s. and it came as a reaction to people, and it came from a reaction the people had to Nazi propaganda. Now, this theory suggests that those who are exposed to violence in the media are influenced to behave in a violent manner. Now, that may or may not be true, but this theory believes that it is of the true category, the true variety. And although it is extremely difficult to prove this theory, a number of high-profile cases have been used to support the link between media and actual bodily violence. Batman murders. When was that? 2012? In 2012, there was a violent crime which the media were blamed for. The imitation Batman murders at the cinema in America.
Is that where that guy dressed up and shot everyone?
Yeah, he dressed up as a character from Batman, and they did a screening of the new Batman film and
Tragic.
shot some people. Yeah. Shot them with his gun.
That's how people use it.
And yeah, and that was blamed for the media. And you've got the Columbine massacre. That was quite a few years ago now, but that was blamed on video games because the kids used to play a lot of violent video games.
It's an easy link up, really, I think.
And they did a huge shooting at an American school.
Yeah.
That's what the film Bowling for Columbine is all about. That talks about the issues of school massacres and things like that have led from media, basically, as a result of what we see in the media.
It's never a good subject to...
Yeah, and when these events happen, it creates a sort of moral panic, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well...
And what is a moral panic, exactly? How could you describe that?
Moral panic is like where the repetitive reporting of incidents in the media creates a sort of overinflated fear towards people. Well, really, there's so much power within the media then, with this. That's the power to influence. So you just generally recognise there need to be some controls in place to regulate the output of the media.
Yeah, like they said in...
too heavily.
Sorry, interrupting.
It's alright.
Like they said in Spider-Man 1.
Yep.
Uncle Ben, led on the floor, just been shot. He goes, Peter, with great power comes great responsibility.
Well, yeah.
And then he died.
I think he also said it in the comics as well. I think that's where they got it from.
Yeah, but mainly in the 2001 movie, motion picture. Spider-Man 1. Great movie.
Well, yeah, that's how everyone sees it. If someone says that saying, you're going to think Uncle Ben.
Spider-Man 1.
Not the comics, apparently.
I think Spider-Man 1.
Okay, Spider-Man 1. In the UK, there are a number of regulatory institutions whose responsibilities are to identify when media is stepping out of the moral boundaries. This is like...
Ofcom?
Yep, Ofcom's one.
PBFC?
Yep, that's another.
British Board of Film Classification.
If you didn't know, podcast people.
If you didn't know already, podcast people, that's what it is.
There's also Advertising Standards Authority.
The ASA?
Yep.
For sure.
Abbreviated, yeah.
Abbreviations for the nations.
And then you got the Independent Press Standards Organisation, which is IPSO, if you want to abbreviate it down, and
IPSO.
New Media Regulation.
New media.
So let's talk about some of them, shall we?
Well, let's talk about just one of them, because
we've only got time for one. Yeah, that's true.
Let's talk about Ofcom. Everyone knows Ofcom.
That's the biggest one, I would believe. So
they are huge. They are so big.
So who are Ofcom then? What did he do?
Ofcom.
Why are they there?
Ofcom, in short for the Office of Communications Act 2002. Well, it's established by the Office of Communications Act. I'll start again. Ofcom was established by the Office of Communications Act 2002, and it's a UK TV censor which regulates UK commercial TV via broadcast cable and satellite. It has responsibilities across television, radio, telecommunications, and wireless communication services.
Yep.
Ofcom's duties fall under 6 categories.
What would they be?
Ensuring the optimal use of the electromagnetic spectrum.
That's one.
That's Wi-Fi. For those guys that didn't know what electromagnetic spectrum was, such as myself.
Here at Two Pieces Podcast.
Ensuring that a wider range of electronic communication services, including high-speed data services, is available throughout the UK.
Let's do.
That's number 2. Number 3, ensuring a wide range of TV and radio services of high quality and high... Right, read that again. I've got crisps in my mouth. 1, 2, 3.
Ensuring a wide range of TV and radio services of high quality and wide appeal is number 3. Number 4, maintaining plurality, mix, and the delivery of broadcasting.
Can I get the next one?
You can have the next
Oh,
two.
thanks, man. Applying adequate protection for audiences against the offensive or harmful material, such as racism, which is very offensive and harmful. And lastly, but not leastly, applying adequate protection for audiences against unfairness or the infringement of privacy. That comes into the phone hacking that we heard about in the press. That's not good. They shouldn't hack those phones, should they? That was bad of them to hack those phones.
It wasn't
upsetting some.
It wasn't
people.
great. No, yeah.
No one should have their phone hacked.
Well, I wonder what you think here. Like, there are hundreds of channels out there in
How
the UK.
can it possibly regulate them all?
It would be impossible, wouldn't it?
It would be impossible. So how do they do it?
They review the shows before.
They review them.
Yeah.
What? They
material
give
before
them
it's
ratings
shown
out
to
of
the
10?
public.
No, they don't.
Well, they review it to see if it's got explicit material. Or...
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, when it on the smaller level, so in EastEnders when Dot goes, these bloody Polish people in front of me in the queue, and people.
We can't have that because
when
they know
review,
they'll get loads of complaints.
Yeah, but when they review it to begin with, they go, Ofcom's watching it. Oh, that's all right, we get away with that. And then when it goes out on air and the Polish people at home watching, they go, we can't say that. That's discriminatory. So they complain. That's where the regulation comes from. It's a body that the viewers can go to and say, I was offended by this. This insulted me. This was racist, this upset me, it was sexist, I felt disgusted when I watched this. That's what they'll say. And then the complaints get read by Ofcom, and then Ofcom goes to the BBC or to ITV and they go, you have insulted this woman from Milton Keynes and she was very upset, say sorry to her or pay a fine.
Yep.
And that's how it works. That's how Ofcom works. And everyone's scared of it because they don't want that to happen to
Yeah,
them.
so it only investigates when complaints have been received from
Members of the public.
members of the public, yeah.
Yeah.
Broadcasters are encouraged to consider its code and it has the power to penalise organisations which end up going against the code because it's taking time out of their day.
An example of that would be in Celebrity Big Brother 2006,
If you remember correctly, yeah.
when Shilpa Shetty was in it, the Indian actress, and Jade Goody, God rest her soul, said to Shilpa Shetty, she went,
I said last night, Shilpa Papadum or something.
Tens of thousands of viewers thought differently, that calling the Bollywood actress Shilpa Shetty Shilpa Papadum, saying she should go back home, was indeed offensive. Today, the Channel 4 boss admitted they were right. Shilpa Shetty had been the victim of racism.
and that upset a lot of viewers, and they complained. And Jade Goody, God rest her soul, got kicked out of Big Brother. And that's fair enough, I'd say.
Yep.
Because you shouldn't be saying things like that.
So let's talk more about that code then.
Yeah, what's in it?
What's
in it, the code?
Well, in setting the code, Ofcom has taken into account the following.
Yeah.
The degree of harm and offence likely to be caused, the likely size and composition of the potential audience,
Oh yeah, that's a good thing to take
the likely expectations of the audience as to the nature of the programme's content.
So have they expected to find that sort of thing or not?
Exactly.
Watching Family Guy, you
Well,
can
yeah,
expect a lot different to what you get.
if you're going to complain about a Family
watching-
Guy thing, then you really...
If you watch Tom and Jerry Kids, you're not expecting to see the sort of jokes that you get in Family Guy, are you?
Exactly.
You're
Well,
expecting a little mouse to hit a cat on the head with a hammer.
and I'm always for Tom's side, but it just never comes to him.
You want the cat to win?
I always want the cat to win. I think
That's controversial. Let us know what you think about that, podcast people. If you've got any complaints, you know where Ofcom is. You think Danny's speaking out of his proverbial
Well, we're going to go back to the...
then perhaps you should complain to Ofcom.
Let's go back to
Don't complain about me, though.
You done?
Yeah. Next bit.
Let's
carry on talking about the code. The likely expectations of the audience and the nature of the program's content, which we've just been through. The likelihood of people being unintentionally exposed to material. And lastly, the desirability of maintaining the independence of editorial control over program content.
Yeah, that's important. An example of when Ofcom has gone out there and done something perhaps controversial is when they fined Jonathan and Russell Brand.
With the
Jonathan Ross,
ringing
Russell
up
Brand.
Andrew Sachs, was it?
Yeah, they rang him up on the old phone.
The old phone.
And they made I think it's better to say it was a prank call.
Yeah.
And some harsh words were left as an answering
It was like childish,
message.
really, though, wasn't it?
It was childish. I think there was a song sang. There was some foul language, which is not acceptable on the Queen's favourite radio station, BBC Radio 2.
Is it still a favourite, though?
I doubt it will be anymore.
Hello, Andrew Sachs. This is Russell Brand. I'm a great appreciator of your work over the decades. You're going to be on my show now, mate. I don't know why you're not answering the phone. It's a bit difficult. I'm here with Jonathan Ross.
Hello, Andrew.
That's Jonathan Ross speaking now.
I apologise.
I said Andrew Sachs!
He's an idiot.
Look, Andrew Sachs, I've got respect for you and your lineage and progeny. Never let that be questioned.
Don't hint.
I wasn't hinting! Why did that come across as a hint?
Because you know what you're talking about.
Now, when you were
a granddaughter!
And basically, they both lost their jobs at the BBC because of one silly moment. But I think what was strange with that was that Ofcom, they fined the pair, how much was it? 200,000?
I couldn't tell you.
It was a great deal of money. If you find that out. 200,000, I think, we'll go with.
Not very good at our research here.
Hey, we've done enough research. We've got research coming out of our ears now.
Not in depth, clearly.
But that's the thing that struck me as strange about that whole situation was that they received 2 complaints or less than that. I don't think they received. I don't think
Andrew Sachs didn't even.
He didn't complain. When the show went out, there was no complaints.
And you got to think the daughter they're talking about. She got a lot of publicity.
She got a lot of publicity, and it wasn't until the Sun wrote a story claiming that they'd done it that the story ever happened. And then all these complaints came in, but they only came in straight after it was published in the Sun. So I don't think it was particularly fair in terms of the ruling. That I think the fine perhaps is all right, but they shouldn't have lost their jobs over something like that, especially since, according to Ofcom's rules, nobody was offended when it was put out. It's just people that have gone and found it, just wanting to be offended, have actually done that, or people who've just sort of prank called Ofcom in return, in retaliation, to try and get them sacked. I think it's a bit stupid, don't it, to be fair, the whole situation.
Well, yeah, it all got out of hand.
I suppose they were in the wrong in the first place. So
they're in the wrong,
what goes around comes around.
Yep.
That's what they say.
So that's the end of Ofcom.
Yeah, we can stop talking about them now because I think we ought to. They've upset us, haven't they?
Well, yeah, I'm a little
the regulations.
Right now, yeah.
And Danny might be getting a fine off them, so we should stop talking about them in case
I lose my job.
I was thinking about replacing him anyway.
It's fine.
I don't know if you've heard of the film, Serbian film. It's pretty rough.
No, it's not good.
I've personally not watched it.
Neither
I wouldn't recommend
I don't want
anybody watching it, really,
Yeah.
from what it sounds like. But it's a good sort of case study when we talk about age ratings on films.
Mm-hmm.
There is age ratings on films, and in order for a film to be released, it has to adhere to at least an 18 rating, which means that only people who are 18 and over can watch it. I don't think a Serbian film qualified for that rating. It's a bit... I think it went over and above that.
Yeah, well...
Received a restricted showing.
It's got a thing, hasn't it? You can't watch it in England, like...
You know,
there was...
Doesn't surprise me.
Tom, our friend, was on about how...
I won't call him our friend.
Our person,
colleague, perhaps.
person we're stuck with. he had a friend who brought it in and put it on in his old school, and he ended up like the police or something. I think it was. Ended up taking it away, and he like got.
I know Tom talks a lot of rubbish, but what he said was that his friend got deported as a result of broadcasting this film to his classmates.
Currently back in Serbia.
To be honest, I don't know whether I believe that. He does have a tendency to make things up, but
some bits might be true. Some bits might have been taken
out.
out.
Put the video on. Probably got in trouble for it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a bit odd. Right, let's. These BBFC guidelines, they dictate what audience a film should receive. So they go from U, PG, 12A, 12, 15, 18, and then restricted, which is porn. Basically, it depends what's in there. It all depends on the content. So if there's a bit of sex in it, but it's not like all shown and that, it'll be an 18. But if there's just a bit of boobs in it, then it'll be 15. And then the scale goes down from there, and it's not just sexual things that sort of dictate what it should be. There's also drug use and violence, and so you can imagine the more illegal drug use, the more violence in a film, the higher up the scale it goes. So in a U you'd expect none, in a PG perhaps you'd expect a bit of violence, maybe a little bit of drug use, probably not, probably just smoking a cigarette or something. And then as you're going up the scale you expect more and more, and so you got something like Train Spotting, full of drugs, full of violence, full of swearing,
and a baby crawling on the roof and turning its head the other way around. It's a bit...
Yeah, I mean that's not the sort of thing you want your 12-year-old watching.
No.
I think I watched it when I was 12.
I say, man. Look how he turned out.
Yeah. So there's a film that's come out recently, and it's sparked a tiny bit of controversy just due to the fact that it's quite. I think it's the main theme of the film is bondage.
Well, it's all about the book, isn't it?
I understand.
And it's basically
the book sounds pretty
an
graphic.
erotic novel.
I mean, Mum was reading it.
I know.
Disgusted.
I was on a trip once, and I was like reading probably like the Dandy or something like.
Yeah.
And then I just got my sister next to me, just like biting her lip, reading 50 Shades of Grey, and we was like, "All right, then I'll just get my Nuts magazine out."
And then just one thing led to another.
It was a weird trip.
Let's put it that way. Right, so we're gonna rate the trailer for this said film.
Yep, we've got it up
What was
now.
it called? What was it called?
We're gonna watch it for the first time.
What was the name?
Live. 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. It's about a guy called Mr. Grey.
I think it's about a rich guy. From what I know, no, it's about a rich guy.
He gives her a job.
I think the girl's like a virgin. And he makes her like
get tied up and stuff.
Like he goes all out on her. He's like, well,
yeah,
jackpot really.
Yeah.
So let's watch the trailer. We haven't seen this yet, so we'll watch it live and see what we think.
Here we go. Alright, we got topless man already.
All grey, as you can see though.
Yeah, there's a lot of grey. But, I mean, we're not looking at it from an artistic point of view.
like? Mr. Grey will see you now.
So she seems to be like a journalist.
Yeah, he told you he's called Mr. Grey.
To what do you owe your success?
I've always been
Sex noises. I think he was just jogging.
For what makes a person tick. Anastasia.
Christian.
You can already see the sexual tension between them. So the musical.
Have you met someone?
It's very tense, very sexy, I reckon.
I like to see your face. Gives me some clue what you might be thinking.
So you're a control freak?
I exercise control in all things.
Oh, now it's taking a turn for you. What's going on?
There you go, the sexual tension's finally.
Yeah, so the sexual tension's broke now and they're kissing.
This Richard goes on helicopter.
It's very...
She's upside down, huh? I think they're trying to reenact a Spider-Man scene.
Pants are off. Yep. There's lots of
I had a rough start in life.
sexual
That's all you need to
things.
know. My
Oh,
tastes are very
topless man.
singular. You wouldn't understand.
Enlighten me then.
It's just like there's been led to a sex dungeon, right?
So it was just like a normal romantic comedy up until now, really. It was quite tense, but now it's got all these whips out and it's very intense.
I don't know if I can be with him the way he needs
Is it
me to.
violent? Yeah, I don't think this is suited with children, do you, Dan?
Well, I wouldn't want my kid watching it.
Oh.
Say I
Right,
did
okay.
stay. What would happen?
And that's it.
Haunted by Beyonce.
Yeah, you have to check that out. I have to get that on the old iPad. Right.
There we go.
So there it is. Personally, I think that's filth. I wouldn't.
Disgusting.
I might watch it, maybe. No, I don't know.
Well, it's cause like thing. It is out right now.
Yeah. Just watching the trailer. I mean, that's hardly got anything.
Have you seen the
The
guy?
trailer has to be.
Have you seen the guy going in by himself?
What do you mean?
And he gets caught on camera that he's going in by himself. And
Right.
he going in to watch the watch the film.
Oh, yeah.
And he walks in, sees there's a camera there, and he goes, walks out, and then walks back. Very funny.
I've not seen that, but let's talk about the film trailer that we just watched. Talk about that later.
Yes.
It was weird. It was nice. It was all right, wasn't it? It was very sexy, very sexual, very.
It's what you'd expect from what
book,
it is, and
from hearing
just
about
for the trailer.
Yeah, I think.
And it wasn't a Red Band trailer either, so it couldn't show.
Was it not?
No, it was not. It was.
All right, so
it couldn't have the
so
shit.
it was mild, but it wasn't mild at the same time.
You could tell that there was going to be stuff in the film.
Yeah, I think
that you
I
wouldn't
think
want
the
your
film's
kids
18.
watching.
I think that's right. It looked very sexually orientated, and from what I hear, there's sexual violence throughout the film.
Yeah.
Not like tying up and S&M.
Whips, lots of whips.
Yeah.
Lots of her being blindfolded. You don't know what's going to go into her mouth next.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't take my toddler to go and see it. I wouldn't recommend.
I'd get my toddler, make him watch Shaun the Sheep and go in by myself.
Yeah, I'd get my toddler and I'd go, alright, son, you go in there.
But you get your toddler or your toddler?
My toddler, I'd say, yeah, son, here's £4, you go and watch Shaun the Sheep. And then I'd be like, I'll meet you outside afterwards. And I'll go and watch 50 Shades of Grey by myself. It looks alright, it looks like a sort of film.
Well, I haven't heard good reviews about it, I'm not going to
You've heard bad reviews?
I've heard it. All bad. Boring, not as sexy.
All I've heard about it is that it's basically a softcore pornography film.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And that's right up my street. That is the sort of thing I could
But if
go
you
for.
want that,
the internet is
the internet's there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
If you're like, oh, I don't get these people who are like,
oh, I gotta go to cinema so I can watch with
Yeah.
other people. Dude, just there's a laptop. Go
type
silly.
in kinky bondage.
Kinky bondage.
You're halfway there.
I've got all sorts of sites. I won't list any.
No.
Podcast people, if you want to get in touch, tell us your favourite porn sites.
What's your favourite category?
Yeah. Alright. Well, that I think we'll probably draw the line under that. That's probably enough talking for this episode. Or this
break
segment of podcast.
Another set of advertisements before we get back.
We'll have some more adverts, and then after the break, we will be back with more. See you later, podcast people.
Diddle bit.
At Alton Towers, we're very serious about sorry about that. As well as being the UK's leading theme park, we've got 40,000 square foot water park, luxury spa, and 2 themed hotels. But impressive as all this is, it's the enthusiasm and dedication of our team that really makes us special. And right right now, we're looking for more cool-headed people to join us right across our business. If you think you could keep your head when everyone else is losing theirs, visit altontowersjobs.com or see local press for information of our recruitment weekends that are taking place throughout January. I think I need to lie down for a bit.
Backstreet's back, alright.
Hey podcast people, we're back from that short break. We are Two Peas in the podcast.
And you are our podcast people.
Today we are talking about employment opportunities and job roles
in the media sector. First off, let's talk about all the different types of employment.
Yes,
what have we got? What have we got, Mr. Bland?
Well,
over there in the blue corner, we've got
employed, which goes down to casual, permanent, temporary, and part-time.
And what about that self-employed business? When you're self-employed, you own your own business or you work freelance.
You blow my mind sometimes. I learn something new
My
every
intelligence cannot be contained within a box.
So let's first talk about all the employed type things.
Oh yeah, those people. Let's talk about those first.
The advantage of being employed is if you earn below 10,000, you won't have tax deducted. Anything over will be deducted, however.
Yeah, that is true. And employed people are employed under contract to employment, which sets out the terms and conditions of the employment, such as working hours, holidays, and roles and responsibilities. Those are all really good things to have if you have a job.
Yeah, well, and as an employee, your employer is responsible for deducting tax and national insurance for a pay-as-you-earn scheme.
Now, those schemes are really good, aren't they, Danny? I've heard about those in the newspaper.
Mate, they are the best.
Those are good schemes.
Can't get better.
On top of that, you've got other advantages such as contracted hours, which means you know exactly how many hours you're working in a week. Someone else brings the work to you, you don't have to go looking for it, and you get maternity leave. That's just for the ladies, though. That's not for us guys. We get paternity leave.
Well done.
And that's not the same, is it? Doesn't last as long.
Doesn't, no.
It's only a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
But they're thinking of bringing
you didn't squirt anything out, did you? So.
Well, you do squirt something out. That is all you do. Moving swiftly on to... Let's look at the disadvantages of being employed. Your wage is consistent and it won't change even if you learn a lot of money from a certain project. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right.
Of course it's right.
Okay.
What's
another disadvantage?
Well, you've also got your daily commute.
That could be a bad thing if you get stuck in traffic or if
That's why we're talking about disadvantages.
If you get attacked by a flock of seagulls in the morning, every morning, could you imagine?
Happens.
That'd be that's such a disadvantage being employed. Yeah. I'd rather have no job than be attacked by a flock of seagulls every morning.
So would I.
What else?
Well, you also have a set amount of holidays a year.
Yeah, that is true. And you're a cog in the machine, really, don't you? So you don't have as much freedom. You can't just take holidays as and when. Which would
every machine needs those cogs.
Yeah, that is true. I can see where you're coming from. Well, let's get into more detail talking about the types of employment that there is. So when we're talking about people who are employed, there's temporary employment, isn't there?
Well, yeah. Temporary work or temporary employment refers to a situation where the employee is expected to leave the employer within a certain period of time. Sometimes this is known as contractual, seasonal, interim, casual staff or temp. This is usually around the holidays to help him when it gets a little busier.
Yeah, and temporary workers, they can work on a full or part-time basis depending on the individual case. So like supply teachers, they're an example of temporary workers, aren't they? They come in when people are ill. They're just casual staff, known as temps, which I presume is short for temporary worker.
You would think.
Because temporary worker doesn't roll off the tongue that well, does it?
That's true.
And in some instances, temporary workers receive benefits such as health insurance. That's mainly probably in America, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
And not all these temporary employees actually find jobs through the temporary employment agencies. Some of them may find them through other means.
Yep.
For example, a person can simply apply at a local park for a seasonal job, or just knock on doors and ask for a job.
Well, let's talk about more of a permanent type employment.
Yeah, the direct opposite of temporary work would be permanent. So these permanent employees, regular employees or the directly employed, work for one single employer and are paid directly by that employer.
Well,
aren't they, Dan the man?
Yeah, and they often receive benefits like subsides, healthcare, paid vacations, holidays, sick time, or contributions for a retirement plan.
That's nice. That's nice. Nice thing to have.
It's something you need for the future, isn't it? So
yeah, if you are looking to retire one day.
You would think.
Yeah, like some people just want to work until.
Yep,
they,
you get those great
pop their
old men, don't
clogs.
they? Yeah, they love the work.
They may be eligible, these people who work permanently, to join a union, which is something that's both a socially good thing and a financially good thing. Benefits their life in many ways during their employment.
Mm-hmm.
But rarely does permanent employment mean that an individual is guaranteed throughout their entire life a job.
Yeah.
Does it?
Well, yeah.
Or does it? I mean, it depends on the job.
Well, yeah.
But let's take an example. Football manager.
Football manager, we're going on that.
Yeah, let's
Great
go down
game.
that route. Because as a football manager, often you're employed on a permanent basis and you expect you're going to do the job for however many years. But often that isn't the case. If things don't go well, you end up getting the sack, and then before you know it, you're at Everton or some team down the leagues, and things aren't going
that's
the
a
way
little
you
rude,
plan.
but yeah. Let's move on to part-time employment.
Yeah, that's somewhere in between. It's like it's not temporary because they work all the time, but they don't work every hour of the week. They just work on a part-time basis.
Yep, I work part-time at the moment.
Really? Would you like to tell us and the podcast people a bit more about that?
Of course I would. They're like my family, they are, so I can tell them anything.
They are like your family.
Basically.
Some of them are your family.
I know, right? This is to you, Mum.
Which one?
Which one? All three. Come on. Gotta give the love a round.
What's it like working at McDonald's? Go and tell us. Tell us, Dan.
Full time it'd be working 5 times a week, but I only work 2 times a week. This
Twice,
is
you
due
could
to
say.
yeah,
Twice a week.
twice a week.
That's quite a part-time basis.
Well, of course, but I've got college in the way and stuff, so
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
only stuff I can do. But it goes around my schedule, which is always nice. Like I've got flexibility of like being able to go like take a week off. So like I'm taking a week off soon because it's my birthday. So that'll be off, and I might be working Monday and Tuesday instead of Saturday and Sunday. So they're really good with the flexibility with part timers. But that's what they're used to. You're used to getting students coming in, so
Yeah, I
that's one thing
suppose
with that.
that's probably quite helpful for the employer to have people on a part-time basis.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they get all the same sort of benefits as somebody who's working full-time. They get the sick pay, paternity, maternity, fraternity, all that.
Every
Yeah, and they also get holidays, they get training and career development, which is must be good having that old thing, that old chestnut. And yeah.
So some benefits are applied pro
rata.
What's the
Pro rata. That's what you were
rata.
going to say, wasn't it?
Pro rata.
We're finishing each other's sentences.
Oh.
Like 2 peas in a podcast. Wait, that is what we
They
are.
said it.
That's
They
what
said
we are.
Yeah, for example, is a full-time worker gets £1,000 Christmas bonus, and a part-time worker works half the number of hours. You would think they would get £500, which is only fair.
But that's not always the case, is it, Danny?
Well, sometimes it's not. Sometimes, like, you've got to take into account, like, some full-time workers hardly do anything. And why should they get paid more? I know they're working more hours, but if the part-timer works
that much more to the
so
business.
much harder and adds so much more to
yeah.
the business,
See where you're coming
you got to think from there. So let's move on to casual employment.
So this is the last employed
subtopic
that we're going to speak about. So casual workers, these people who they're hardly employed, are they? They come in every now and then to do a bit of work. But
yeah, they're on a 0-hour contract.
Yeah, it's not the sort of thing you could say, like, you work 0 hours on a 0 hours contract as a plumber. You can't go to the pub and somebody says, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" You can't go, "Oh, I'm a plumber," if you're working on a 0 hours contract, because you could do no hours work in a week. Finally, we're going to talk about casual workers. Casual workers.
Yes. With their 0-hour contracts or casual contracts, it allows employees to hire staff with no guarantee of work. So, like, if they really need them in, hey, you work for us.
Come on, work.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny. Hey, I got some work for you.
Not really like the mafia, but
it's similar. legal work. We're talking
Legally,
about. We're not talking about
yeah,
organised crime.
Just like
we're talking about organised work. much nicer.
Bingo. Tied it together so well.
With the mafia.
This means... No, I've got it.
You got this one. Go on. Continue. I think you said you had it. Have you lost it?
This means employees work only when they're needed by their employers, often at a short notice. Their pay will then go on to depend how often they seem to work for said employer.
So some 0 hours contracts oblige workers to take the shifts that they are offered, which means if you say, oh no, I can't work tonight, you could get sacked. Legally, they could fire you. Others do not. Others are more ethical and they don't believe in that sort of thing.
That's nice of them. Well,
sick pay?
Yeah, sick pay is often not included in casual contracts for employment, although holiday pay should be, really.
Should be. Yeah, you'd think so.
With in line with working time regulations, so like they can't just say, "Oh, we need to come in, short notice. You need these times," and they're like, "But it is my birthday."
Yeah. Or,
I can't come in.
I'm asleep.
Exactly. There's still times you can't do it. It's like
middle of the night. I'm not working now.
Exactly. It's like I've already took myself up in bed. I've had my hot chocolate.
You got pyjamas on.
Match your day.
You'd be asleep. We're talking like 2 o'clock in the morning. They ring you up saying, "Oh, we need you."
Well, I don't know why they'd need you at 2 o'clock, but it's just an example, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an example.
Anything could happen. Employment's a crazy place, really.
Yeah, it is.
So moving on from
we've done all the
work,
employed ones. Let's talk about being self-employed, shall we?
Yeah, which is also like freelance.
There's different means of being self-employed. You could have your own business, or you could work freelance. A person who is freelance worker, they will carry out work for more than one company under a contract for employment. So these are people who are like writers or like a lot of the creative media roles require you to work freelance. So you got cameraman, that's a freelance role, would you say?
Can be.
Editor. These sorts of jobs are all ones that you could do freelance. As a freelance worker, you're responsible for paying your own tax and national insurance, which can be tricky. I've heard that some people, they've spent all their money and then it comes around to April or March where they have to come pay their tax.
Yeah, that's a tough.
And they ain't got any money left. They've spent it throughout the year. So that's like
could ruin a business.
Watch out for that sort of thing. These are things you don't have to worry about when you're employed because of the tax gets paid out of your wages before you even get it.
Yeah.
What else is goes on the field?
Well, you'll also incur additional expenses such as like cost of liability insurance, renting a premises that you like are at, equipment costs, and many other things. Really, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it being self-employed. And if a company wishes to take legal action as well against you, then you'll have to be required to cover compensation. And this is personal liability.
Yeah, that's where the liability insurance comes in.
Yep.
So you can't afford to fork out if you
can't keep paying it on, can you?
If you trip up an old lady in the street or something while you're
Rush
working.
Rush your blood.
You're liable. You'd have to cover her, whatever you hospital bills if you're in America.
Well, it all seems quite bad at the moment, but let's actually go in and talk about the advantages of being self-employed.
Yeah, I mean, sure, there's probably as many advantages as there is disadvantages.
You'd like to think, or else why would people do it, really?
Yeah, if the pros don't outweigh the cons.
Yeah, well, the first main reason people are self-employed is potentially you can get more money. And isn't that why people work?
Yeah, that's
more
true.
money.
With being employed,
high risk, high reward.
Being employed, you can only be paid up to a certain wage bracket.
Yep.
And then once you reach the top of your game, it's like, all right, well, you're on the top wages now. No going up from here. But being self-employed, you could earn unlimited amounts of money. If you look at Richard Branson, these are all people who...
Well, they made it big, didn't they?
Bill Gates. They employ themselves to do their job.
Talk about the richest people, they're all self-employed.
Very healthfully. Another advantage, contract work is available. So there is work for these freelance people.
Yep,
but
always work.
I suppose the disadvantage of that is that there's competition.
Yeah, but if you want to prove you're the best, competition shouldn't be a problem for you.
If you believe in yourself and you know that what you do is the best,
inspiring,
you can rise to the top.
Yep.
You could be the next
Powerful,
best
powerful words,
paraglider in the world if you want it to be.
Yeah,
If they had competitions, you could win the paragliding World Cup. As a
Don't
freelance
anybody tell you
paraglider.
differently?
Yeah, all you need, podcast people, is a bit of self-belief.
Yep.
And it'll go a long way.
Yep. The only thing that's holding you back is yourself.
Yeah.
Danny Bland, 2015, even though someone else has probably taken that. Well, I like to think it's mine now.
Yeah, you can have that. It wasn't that good, so nobody can argue.
Working hours are governed by clients' needs and deadlines.
Yeah, that's another very important advantage.
Along with the freedom to work on different projects for different companies and the excitement of taking on new projects. So everything's like going to be different.
Everything's exciting.
Nothing's
new project
same old, same old.
Yeah, you don't get into a rut with that, do you? You don't
Yeah.
have to wake up each morning, have your Cocoa Pops, go to work,
Yep.
get the bus, and go, what a rubbish day.
Yep.
Oh,
I
I
get that
it's
a
not like
lot.
that tomorrow. Oh wait,
Bang,
yes it
it's
is.
the same
It's
thing.
like that tomorrow.
Yep.
When you're working freelance or self-employed, you can take on your own challenges. You can make life exactly how you want it to be. Tailor-make your own work life to be exactly how you want it to be. Which sounds like a pretty good thing to me.
Yeah, we've juiced self-employment up quite a bit now, so
Yeah.
let's knock it right back down with some
we've
disadvantages.
brought his confidence right up to the top, so let's start
That's how you get 'em.
pecking it down until
So,
it's right down at the bottom. And nobody wants to do it.
One of the main disadvantages is the cost of running your own office, rent, insurance, computer, internet. It costs, man.
Yeah.
It's so much
Yeah.
money, especially if you're starting it up. That's going to be the
it's
trickiest
true.
bit.
Being self-employed, you've got no IT department to come fix your computer. You have to fix it yourself.
Just try it on, turn
You've
it on and off
You
again.
can't just borrow a stapler. You have to buy your own stapler. So little things like that, they all add up.
Oh mate, the day you
People
don't
don't
have a
think about
stapler.
that. And when you're employed, you can take holidays. You're entitled to holidays, so you ought to take holidays to encourage it. But when you're self-employed, you're the only person that has a say. So
Yeah.
if you're losing,
You can take the holidays, but you're going to lose.
yeah, you're gonna lose
earnings,
a lot of
aren't
your
you?
earnings by taking a holiday. Is it worth it? Some may ask.
It better be a good holiday, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you want to go somewhere good, like maybe
Anywhere but Wales.
anywhere but Wales. Yeah, it's pretty much what you just said. The lack of regular income.
Yeah.
The hassle of sorting out your own finances, doing your accounts. You never have the chance to switch off from your work.
Yeah, sometimes you think, oh, I'm self-employed, I choose my own hours, but most of those times you need those hours to do everything.
Yeah.
Or else you're not
There's
going to
never enough hours in the day,
Mhm.
I've found.
Yep.
There's only 24. And some of those you need to sleep through.
I would say at least
7 or 8.
8, yeah, at least.
That's pushing it. But
That's if you
6 at the least. I think you have 6 hours sleep a night, you'd be unhealthy. You'd be.
Well,
I wouldn't fancy that.
I'm
10
calling
hours.
myself the healthiest right now.
I've had 12 hours sleep before in the past, and that has done me no harm. That's all I'll
Was
say.
it good for you?
That's half a day though.
I'm
So you're losing a lot of time.
That's true. So let's go on. Let's stop talking
You know what
about
they say.
self-employed.
You know what they say.
Go on.
Life is for the living.
Yeah,
Not
I don't think
sleeping.
anyone else is going to bother about taking that one either.
Alright.
Let's move on to volunteer work.
Now this is work that you probably already know. You
Mhm.
don't get paid for.
Some people, some
You
people
don't get
think,
paid for working.
what's the point in volunteer work?
What is the work? What is the point?
It's
I
just
mean,
like-
of working
It's
if
like-
you're not getting
you gotta
any money
think.
for it.
I know it's
Sounds
not
ridiculous.
I know,
The whole
man,
concept.
I know, but you get experience of what you're doing. Like if you want to go into something, that will help you. Then
I don't think
help you
there's many
meet new
advantages with
people.
You can meet people in the street.
Meet new.
Meet
I
people
know
on
you
the
could
bus.
be. Yeah, but they could turn
Meet
out to be
people down
like
the pub.
stabbers or stuff.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people who stab.
Like, do you want that? People who are
I don't want
volunteering, they're not going to be. Oh, I'm going to stab you today.
Well, why are they volunteering? That's what I want to know.
It looks
it's
good on the
fishy,
CV.
It's weird. It's creepy.
Nah,
I'd say it's a bit creepy.
I think
Working.
volunteers are a great
I bet
bunch
they're
of
weirdos.
people. I'm not going to do it myself,
I wouldn't do it.
but
Just because of the weirdos you meet.
unless I need it for a future job. But I'm quite here managing this
Yeah.
2Ps in a podcast at the moment, so
Yeah, I mean, it pays well, this job. We're not going to
go into our wages. And suddenly we have light once more. You can't see that in the studio, but our lights are back on.
Somebody's watching us.
So let's go on. Since though you're You seem to not like
I'm so
volunteering
against
as much.
it.
Let's talk
I've
about
got no
the
problem.
disadvantages.
I have no problem with the concept of volunteering.
Okay.
I think it's a noble thing to do.
Uh-huh.
But obviously the disadvantages are you don't get paid. You ain't got no money for doing it.
Why have you gone weird with your accent?
I'm just making a point.
And that's how you do it with your weird accent.
That's the best way to make it.
Okay.
And it's time consuming as well. I mean, you could work a job and you work in 7 hours, 8 hours a day, and you get paid decently for that.
Well, that's what I'm like when I get my job. I'm like, well, I've been here a while. And then you got to think, hey,
you've got money at the end of
like
the day.
60 quid there.
Imagine
for a day.
if you were somewhere building huts for underprivileged children in perhaps Nairobi.
Great spot.
Then, like, at the end of the day, you've worked perhaps 9 hours and you've got no money for it.
Yeah, but you got to think that could be.
You'd be knackered.
But you've just built a home for somebody. Won't that make you feel something inside better than payment?
Suppose. This is something I hadn't thought about before. Maybe that's another advantage. You get a sort of nice warm feeling inside you. Feeling of happiness.
That's why people volunteer.
I might become a volunteer now.
Oh, so you've changed your ways.
Yeah, you've swayed me, Danny.
Well, there you go.
They don't call you the swayer for nothing.
There you go, you heard it here first. Kids will be building houses for small,
little underprivileged kiddies.
Yep.
And I'll be teaching them a thing or two about making podcasts.
Okay. So, let's go into job roles in creative media industry.
Yeah.
That's what we're mainly here to talk about, the media
All
industry.
that was just an introduction. Now we're getting
that just gets to build it up.
So that 20 minutes, that was just an intro. That's it.
You're
That's right,
welcome.
folks. There's more to come.
You ain't done with us yet. So let's talk about the job roles in creative media industry. This is the main thing we want to get into. So this is what we're going to talk to. All that stuff just then was just like an intro.
It's just a short sort of
So
introduction.
management in the process of getting people together to either achieve a goal or an objective. To be an effective manager, you have to make good use of your resources. The managerial aspect of the media can come in several forms, such as production manager.
Yeah, that's the most obvious one, isn't it?
You would think,
the manager's the beginning step in making any piece of work that you're looking to create. They often overlook all the aspects of the production work, however, they do not control what happens on set. So that's the job of the producer, the director, the floor manager, the actors, the actresses, all the assistant directors, the cameraman. The production manager doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yep.
Financially, organisationally, all these come under the title of management. So, I didn't say that right, did I? Financial, organisational.
Financial and organisational.
Financial and organisational skills can be handy in this sort of job. That's not even right either. I won't read that bit.
So,
let's talk about organisational jobs. These are people who have the ability to manage people, objects and different projects and make sure that everything goes to plan and that they meet the deadlines. They are in charge of positioning items, people, etc.
So they're in charge of positioning of items or people and make sure everyone has a job on set or working within the production.
So, organisational job roles, you could describe transport managers as an organisational job.
Or the transport captain.
Yeah, what's he do, Danny?
Why are you going to do that?
You know what he does?
No, I don't.
He's the captain of the transport. He's in
Well, I
charge
thought that would be too obvious to say.
Well,
like the Jagielka of Everton.
Yeah, Martinez is the transport manager and Jagielka is the transport captain.
Brilliant.
Location. Unit manager. No, that's not one, is it?
Yeah, well, it must be.
I know, it doesn't look like it's written right. The way I read it sounded wrong. Catering jobs. Catering, that's an organisational thing. Got to feed the task force. And publicity skills. These are things that are important. Furthermore, Business and administration. This is a very important role in filmmaking. Tell them, Danny.
Well, administration can be defined as a universal process of organising people and resources efficiently within the film production and the different departments. This helps them achieve the goals and objectives they have set out for their brief.
So different job roles in the administrative area. Paperwork.
Yep.
The boring stuff. Accounts.
Accounting, yep.
Casting. Health and safety. Location choices. Choosing.
Yep.
And the transport and catering, like we mentioned before. Yeah. Still administrative roles.
And now let's talk about the creative side of industry.
The juicy stuff.
Oh,
isn't it juicy?
Well, these help set the scene and make the film accurate and realistic for the audience. In addition, they also help to portray a genre within a film or a different form of media. For example, in horror films, the creative team will play a very important role. They use makeup, costumes, props to set the scene and make what the film director wants to record and
so
what they envision.
Scary makeup.
Yeah, like gashes on their arms,
put a sheet over their head, look like a ghost.
Ooh, sound effects, yep. The whole shebang. So, different job roles in this would be...
The director?
Yep.
Is that one?
Of course.
Can I guess the rest? See if I can get them.
Yep, go on out. Let's play a little mini game.
Makeup artist, is that one?
You got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really good at this. Hairdresser, is that one?
Yep, they would go under the same...
Makeup and hair. Hair and makeup.
Hair and makeup.
Yeah, I suppose. That's sort of one category, isn't it? I suppose you've got, your costume designer. Is that one? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Is it? Really? Oh, I'm doing really well today.
There's quite a few more, though. Can you guess them?
What about casting director?
You're on form right now,
Really?
mate. He is. Yep, that is one.
What about being an actor? Performing actors and actresses? Come on, that's got to be one, man. You're leaving me in suspense here, dude. Come on.
I can confirm it is.
Really?
Yep, you got it.
Oh, you have me so worried then.
Mate, it's all about tension build-up.
I'm knackered now. I can't do any more.
Well,
you tell me the rest.
The rest include music.
Music?
Yep. Props. Props media, prop master, prop maker. Script. That also helps, yep. Lighting.
Oh, yeah.
And construction.
Oh, construction.
Yep, set the scene. Literally.
Oh, yeah. God, eye-opening.
So let's talk about the last thing we have today before we close off before our second break.
Shut this down.
Yep. And this is the finance side of the creative media industry, because finance is the science of funds management. The general areas of finance are business finance, personal, and public finance.
Finance includes saving money and often includes lending money. This is what a lot of the big studios do. They lend money to smaller studios, get them to make a film, and then they make all the money out of it when it's released. The field of finance deals with the concepts of time, money, risk, and how they are interrelated. It also deals with how money is spent and budgeted.
So what would be the different job roles?
Well, I know these, so should I test you on them? Maybe that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
How many
is
the
there?
tables and see if you can do it. Well, I'm going to say there's... Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on my list. I'd like you to try and get those.
All 6.
Yeah, if you can
6
get
for
6,
6. Oh.
I will buy you a hot dog from Wetherspoons.
If I get them all right, our podcast people probably think I'm going to be cheating here.
Yeah, well,
don't want that.
Nah, I've got my sheet of paper. Look, listen. And I can tell you, it's definitely facing me and not Danny. Danny, you can't read them, can you?
No, I cannot.
Right, go on.
So I'm going to go with... Thinking about finance, you're going to go with like accounts and stuff, are you? So I'm gonna go like production
Accountant.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got that.
Key assistant accounting.
Yep.
Is there any more? Is there any more around accounts?
I'm gonna give you a clue. There is one more.
It's not really a clue.
I've assisted you.
Assistant
there.
accounting.
Yeah, he's got it.
Lovely. Right.
Alright, now the totally different areas now we're looking at.
Well, I'm thinking something like a sales agent.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that right?
And that means there's only 2 left to get. Only 2 left. Can you get them?
Well, I'm thinking like around finance. You got
the sweat pouring out your forehead right now.
I know. I'm trying
if
to. If
only
think.
you could see this.
You want to like advertise it out there. So I'm thinking like publicity.
Yeah, a publicist.
Publicist. Yeah,
that's what I've got.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So there's one more.
One left, which is. Do you know it?
So close. I don't know.
It's the accountant captain.
He's come back to haunt me. That guy. He's come back.
You got the transport captain, but you couldn't get the accountant captain.
I know.
Oh,
well, it's a good game, though.
Well, let's.
Can't get them all. I'm not that great.
Yeah, you aren't that great.
Why gotta be like that?
Hey, dude, I mean that in the nicest way possible.
I'd
like to, first of all, thank all you podcast listeners for listening to our podcast. And secondly, I'd like to thank everybody who's ever helped me on the route to making podcasts.
Mate, it's not the last ever podcast.
It could be. We might not come back to this. Yeah, that's true, podcast people. I hate for you to find out this way, but we might not ever do another podcast again. It's been a tough ride. There's been many ups and many downs,
hasn't it?
During this whole thing. It's been a troublesome road, and we're just going to finish with a song. The road is long, doom doom, with many a winding turn that leads us to. Sing it, Danny.
I don't know what it is.
Who knows where? But I'm strong enough to carry him. He ain't heavy. He's my podcast partner. Thank you very much. Elvis has left the building.